Parisian studio Decor, the art of mixing edgy leather with soft vintage details. Bonjour, my dear friends, and welcome into my sanctuary. As the soft light of a Parisian morning filters through these tall, narrow windows, I am reminded that a home is not defined by its square footage, but by the stories we allow it to tell. Today, we are exploring a design philosophy that is close to my heart: the deliberate, slightly rebellious marriage of edgy leather and soft, soulful vintage details. In a studio where every inch is a premium, we don't just decorate. We curate a life that feels both grounded and ethereal. Living in Paris often means embracing the petit. My studio is a labyrinth of narrow corridors and sharp angles, a footprint that might frighten a traditional decorator. However, for those of us who have lived a few chapters of life, we know that constraints are actually the birthplace of true creativity. A narrow room isn't a hallway to be ignored. It is an intimate gallery. We must learn to see these tight spaces as opportunities to create a cozy, wrapped-in feeling that larger homes simply cannot replicate. When I speak of edgy leather, I'm not talking about cold, modern furniture. I'm talking about a piece with character, perhaps a cognac-colored armchair that has seen decades of use. Leather provides a necessary weight to a Parisian studio. Because our walls are often light and our ceilings high, we need something masculine and sturdy to anchor the room. It offers a sense of permanence and reliability, acting as the firm foundation upon which we can layer our softer, more delicate treasures. On the opposite side of our leather anchor lies the soft vintage. These are the items that whisper rather than shout. Think of a hand-knitted lace throw draped over a chair, or a faded velvet cushion that has lost its sheen but gained a beautiful patina. These elements are the feminine touch to our masculine leather. In a small space, these soft textures absorb sound and light, making the narrow walls feel less like a cage and more like a warm embrace from the past. The magic happens in the friction between these two styles. Imagine a sleek, slightly worn black leather bench sitting directly underneath a gallery wall of ornate, gold-framed Victorian sketches. This contrast is what makes a home feel human and lived in. It suggests that the person living here has a complex history, someone who appreciates the ruggedness of the world but still treasures the delicate beauty of a silk ribbon or a pressed flower. To make this mix work without feeling cluttered, we must respect the canvas. In Paris, this usually means white or cream walls with intricate plaster moldings. This neutral backdrop is essential. It provides the breathing room that a small studio desperately needs. By keeping the background quiet, the rich textures of our leather and the intricate details of our vintage finds can take center stage without competing for our visual attention or making the room feel claustrophobic. As we reach a certain age, we realize that we no longer have the energy or the space for fast furniture. In a tiny studio, every item must earn its place. I would rather have one magnificent, second-hand leather chair than a whole set of cheap, characterless furniture. This educational approach to design is about discernment. It's about waiting for that perfect piece at the Brocante that speaks to you, ensuring that your home is a collection of loves, not just a collection of things. In a narrow room, the floor plan is a puzzle. We often have to place furniture against the walls, which can feel stagnant. To break this up, I use the soft elements to create curves. A round vintage rug or a soft, draped textile can break the harsh, straight lines of a narrow studio. It leads the eye in a dance around the room, making the space feel wider and more fluid than the blueprint would ever suggest. There is something deeply comforting about distressed materials. A leather sofa that shows the marks of time is not damaged, it is seasoned. For my audience in the US, UK, and beyond, I want to encourage you to stop fearing the scratch or the fade. These marks of use are what make a home feel authentic. They mirror our own journeys, the wrinkles and scars that tell the world we have truly lived and experienced the beauty of the passing years. In France, the Brocante, the flea market, is our church. It is where we find the soft in our soft vintage. A silver tray turned dark with age, a stack of linen napkins with embroidered initials, or a chipped porcelain vase. These items bring a sense of history into a small space. They remind us that we are merely the current custodians of these beautiful objects, adding our own chapter to their long and storied lives before they pass to the next. Lighting is the secret ingredient that brings leather and vintage to life. In a small studio, you must avoid the big light at all costs. Instead, use small, warm lamps. When warm light hits a leather surface, it glows with a rich, amber hue. When it filters through a vintage lace lampshade, it casts intricate, romantic shadows on the walls. This interplay of light and shadow is what creates that Parisian mood we all crave during a quiet evening at home. When you run out of floor space, look up. The high ceilings of many old apartments are a gift. I like to use tall, slender vintage bookshelves to display my leather-bound books and small antiques. By drawing the eye upward, you remind yourself and your guests of the volume of the room, rather than just the narrowness of the floor. It's a psychological trick that makes a 20 square meter studio feel like a grand estate. If you only invest in one edgy piece, let it be the armchair. It is the quintessential throne of the Parisian home. A leather armchair says, "I am a person of substance." It provides a comfortable place to read, to think, or to enjoy a glass of Bordeaux. By pairing it with a very soft, high-pile wool rug underneath, you create a zone of comfort that feels entirely separate from the rest of the tiny apartment. No vintage-inspired home is complete without a touch of nature. However, in a studio with leather and antiques, I prefer plants that have a wild look, like an overgrown ivy or a delicate fern. These plants soften the edgy lines of the leather furniture and bring a sense of freshness to the air. They are the living bridge between the sturdy materials of our furniture and the ephemeral beauty of the natural world outside our window. We must talk about mirrors, the oldest trick in the Parisian book. A large, ornate vintage mirror leaning against a wall is a window into another dimension. It reflects the leather textures and the soft fabrics, doubling the depth of a narrow room. But more than that, it captures the light. A well-placed mirror can take the dimmest corner of a studio and turn it into a glowing sanctuary of reflected elegance. Truly human. Home appeals to all senses, not just the eyes. The smell of high-quality leather mixed with a beeswax candle or a bouquet of fresh lavender is the scent of Paris. When you walk into a small space, the aroma is the first thing that greets you. It sets the emotional tone. It tells your brain, you are safe, you are home, and you are surrounded by things of quality and grace. It is easy for a small space to become a cabinet of curiosities that feels overwhelming. To avoid this, I practice the art of editing. Every few months, I look at my vintage trinkets and ask, does this still serve the story? If the answer is no, it's time to pass it on. This is the opinionated part of my design philosophy. We must be ruthless in our pursuit of beauty, ensuring that our small space remains a place of peace, not a storage unit for the past. The mix of leather and vintage is ultimately an exercise in balance between gendered energies. The leather represents the stoic, the protective, and the masculine. The vintage lace and soft florals represent the nurturing, the delicate, and the feminine. When these two forces live together in a narrow studio, the result is a perfectly balanced home that feels complete. It is a reflection of the human experience, strength tempered by gentleness. For my friends who care about the planet, this style is the ultimate win. By choosing vintage leather and antique details, we are stepping out of the cycle of disposable culture. We are honoring the craftsmanship of the past. These pieces were made to be repaired, not replaced. In a world that moves too fast, our small Parisian studios become a testament to the enduring value of things that were made with heart and hands. Even the tiniest Parisian kitchen can hold this aesthetic. A single leather-wrapped handle on a cabinet or a vintage copper pot hanging from a rack can transform a functional corner into a design statement. It's about carrying the theme throughout the entire studio, ensuring that there is a cohesive thread that connects the sleeping area to the cooking area, making the entire apartment feel like one harmonious thought. home, a Nook is your best friend. I love to tuck a small leather stool into a corner with a vintage floor lamp. It becomes a destination. Even in a tiny studio, you need different areas for different moods. This Nook is for quiet reflection. The leather provides the support for your body, while the vintage charm of the lamp provides the inspiration for your mind. It is a small luxury that costs very little space. Many people over 50 feel they should play it safe with their decor. I am here to tell you the opposite. Be bold. If you want that oversized, edgy leather sofa in your tiny room, buy it. The content of my channel is meant to empower you. Your home should not look like a furniture catalog. It should look like you. If you love the friction between a rugged leather jacket and a silk scarf, bring that same energy into your living room. As we conclude our journey through this tiny studio, remember that the art of living, l'art de vivre, is about finding joy in the details. Whether you are in London, New York, or Sydney, you can bring a piece of Paris home with you. Mix that edgy leather with those soft, vintage memories. Embrace your narrow rooms and fill them with the textures of a life well lived. Until next time, stay inspired, keep curating, and as always, merci beaucoup for spending your time with me. Au revoir.